Coming up in episode 187, we've got Harley, we've got the Joker, we've got the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. We're going to talk about the latest Suicide Squad trailer.
Don't forget about Batman. He's going to be in that too.
Who could forget about Batman?
But he's spinning off in his own movie. We've got who's directing it and who's writing that coming up today.
We also have some brand new TMNT comic book, TMNT Universe. We're going to touch up on that and let you guys know our thoughts.
And one of our 2 reviews, being Puppycat number 10, I should say. All of this and more on today's episode. Whoa, a brand new theme song for the Brokettes, completely blindsided on the brand new opening.
Came out of nowhere. We didn't mention anything. We just said, surprise.
Yeah, kept it on the down low. But this is one of the perks to having a Patreon, is that we can do a couple of the extra things, even though it's not specifically a goal. That does free up a little bit extra money for us to do even more stuff on the back end. So one of those things is the opening, and later on at the very end, you'll hear a new closing theme song too.
But for those of you who are listening and saying, what the hell are you guys talking about? This is the Reason I'm Broke podcast, bringing you the reasons we're broke, ranging from comics, movies, TV, video games, groceries, bills, no.
Sometimes, yeah.
Sometimes, and more. I'm your host, Kelly.
And I'm Daniel.
So as we were just saying, we do have a brand new theme song. This was created by @VincentEL. You can find him on Twitter.
He also has some channels over at youtube.com/Swinglish. So that's SWENGLISH. And vincentel.bandcamp.com. You can check out his other work on there, and you can also commission him for any opening theme songs. If any of you know Channel Awesome, he also did the opening to Linkara.
So we just want to give a big shout out to him. Thank you so much. Our new theme song is amazing and not copyrighted, so we can actually use it.
Yeah, that was one of the things we realized is at the rate that we're growing, we're not going to be able to have Batman the Animated Series as our opening and closing forever.
Really?
So Vincent did a great job, and it was mainly inspired as ordered by the Sega Genesis era of music. That's one of my favorites, in specific, Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah.
That stuff, Sonic 3 was ridiculously good. That soundtrack was phenomenal, and the backgrounds are saying that they were under the table, worked on by Michael Jackson. They just couldn't credit him in the game itself.
Awesome.
Yeah, so you'll hear a lot of those songs are influenced by at least Michael Jackson or his theme songs, even if he didn't actually directly work on them. So that was one of the main inspirations for this, and Vincent did a great job in incorporating that into the theme song, the opening, the closing. So huge thanks to Vincent. Again, check him out. We're also going to have a link to his Twitter on our YouTube videos, forever embedded in the description. So thank you so much, Vincent, and thanks to the Brokettes for the support on Patreon. Because of that, these little things can happen on the side as an extra.
And with that, guys, we're going to jump straight into our podcast. One thing we like to do first, though, is talk about our week. Do you have anything interesting to share?
Just the fact that I fucking finally saw Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
You did. Brokettes have been waiting a long time for you to see that.
I think the whole world has. Like, even friends that don't listen to the show are like, you really haven't fucking seen that? I'm like, no, I haven't seen that, and I haven't seen The Wizard of Oz.
You get political calls, and they're like, wait, have you seen Ferris Bueller's Day Off? Because you should really see that.
I'm on the phone with MegaCon, too, and they're like, wait, you haven't seen that? Click. Oh, come on.
No.
Not this year. Yeah, it's on Hulu, as we reported 2 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. And I caught it on there, and I watched it. It was actually last week that I'd say I'd watch it this weekend. I kept my promise. As a politician, yes. I unlike politicians, I kept my promise.
Frank Underwood.
Yeah, and I did talk about on Twitter a little bit what I felt. Most of the big lines in the movie were spoiled for me through stuff like Deadpool, people just talking about the movie itself, quoting it. So the impact of those big lines was gone for the most part. And I have seen enough highlights of Ferris Bueller's in other YouTube videos when people talk about cinema or film. There'll be that clip of the car going in reverse and breaking out the building. And even if you're watching it, you know it's going to happen because they set it up so perfectly. But I love seeing the city of Chicago because I used to live over there. So just seeing all the landmarks, the museum, the landscaping of the city, it's gorgeous. The acting, you can tell the whole crew had a ton of fun. Matthew Broderick is amazing. He's an amazing performer. And the one joke that did get me that I did not expect was when the secretary, and Brocats I'm sure are going to know about it, but you don't see it often, is the secretary's talking to one of the students and she's kind of being shitty to her. And when the student leaves, the secretary just mutters to herself and says, "What a little asshole." So that's what I'm like, all right, you got me, movie.
Touche, movie, you win.
I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it. It's
Good.
just the unfortunate thing is that I saw it so late and took so long to see it, and that's my fault. So that's why most of those jokes kind of went over my head, or I've already seen them, so they didn't hit me at all.
Well, good, and now you understand Deadpool a little bit better.
Yeah, I wouldn't have complained about that last scene of, I'm thinking that guy's an idiot for laughing about Deadpool in a bathrobe, and I'm the idiot because I didn't understand what the fuck was going on the screen. But yeah, that's after the credits, because you sit through the credits, there's a scene, and you're seeing the principal and how he takes the school bus. It's a really long scene, and then it finally merges into Matthew Broderick talking to the audience and saying, "You're still here? Go home, it's over." And that's it. Just like in Deadpool.
Well, good. Glad you finally got to see it. Broquettes can stop asking. Except I haven't seen it, but don't ask me to see it. I don't have enough time.
I'm not going to have enough time during my breaks when I'm out and about, because Pokemon is finally having the open beta for Android devices on Pokemon TCG Online.
I have lost my husband. I will never see you again.
It's been years since Apple users have had this thing, and finally it's coming to Android users.
So just some stipulations. Players will be having to run Android 4.0 or later to participate in the beta.
Yeah, so nothing too old. You will have to be at least within 2 years on your Android device, assuming that the companies are actually supporting it. I remember I had a Motorola phone, 2 phones from this one, and they had promised about all these updates that were coming to this phone, and eventually they're just like, no, none of that's happening.
2 phones before this one was like 6 years ago, though.
It was a long time ago, and that's when they were really ramping up. And Motorola, it was like their last-ditch effort to really get the devices running and going and to get some businesses. And their headquarters are actually where I used to live, also in one of the places I used to live in Illinois, Schaumburg. Yeah. So you can see that big building, and there's the Motorola building. I'm like, holy shit, that's it right there, world headquarters for Motorola. And for those phones, you're probably not going to be able to play them. But if
anybody has a 6-year-old phone,
if you have like a tablet, you'll be able to play Pokemon TCG Online with the beta. It will release worldwide as an official way instead of having to go through the website later on this year. So right now you do still have to go to Pokemon.com. You can't just go to the Google Play Store to set this.
I know this will eat up so much of your time, though. Like I said, I've lost my husband. You're just going to be playing this game all the time.
Well, not right away, because for the first 3 months, it's going to be real buggy, really slow. I'm going to lose so many matches because it won't register me going, no, fucking play Gengar. Dark Corridor, that bitch. That's all I need. Last prize. No, it's not going to... It's not connected. You're going idle for 15 seconds. You lost the match. Fuck. God damn it.
But see, you got to play it so they can work through those things.
Send them feedback.
Yep, exactly. Send them some nerd rage. As we mentioned at the very beginning of the show in our brand new opening, we do have a new TMNT comic coming out later this year.
IDW received feedback from buyers and comic readers everywhere with their dollars. They said, we want more turtles. Kelly and I want more turtles.
Of course we do.
And they're giving us more turtles titled Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Universe as an ongoing comic this August.
The writer will be Paul Allor, who's worked on G.I. Joe, and the artist is Damian Cusiero, who's done Son of Anarchy.
Nice. You got that last name. Nailed it.
I did. I've been working on my pronunciations. Not really. That was just dumb luck.
So this spin-off series will spotlight characters and storylines in the IDW TMNT universe.
This series takes place alongside the current ongoing continuity.
We have a quote here from TMNT editor Bobby Curnow, who said, quote, with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles universe, we'll be able to fully explore all of the exciting characters and plots that the world of the Turtles has to offer. This series will also be the perfect venue for some of the best creators in the industry to tell Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles stories in their own unique voice. End quote.
I'm sure they're doing this mostly to ramp up for the movie, because the movie's about to come out.
Of course.
Pull in those viewers. But at the same time, TMNT has been a solid series for a very long time. So I am so excited to see more.
One of my coworkers, Alex, has read all of the 80s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comics. He has the collections. He's read all of it. So when Donnie, quote unquote, died, he said it'll probably be an android, just like they did in the 80s, although that wasn't popular. And they did it, and they did it better when they redid it. So he's kind of a little bit ahead when he sees a lot of these plots coming, because Kevin Eastman's still involved in this.
Right.
But this is essentially taking place of the villain series that we had in the past, the Mutanimals that was recently. They're instead just merging all of that into one separate title, and those individual spotlights are instead going to be arcs in this ongoing. So that discourages me a little bit, because I know I'm not going to want to read about Casey Jones or the Mutanimals, and those are going to be worked in here. They're going to give you a little bit of the main Turtles, but I feel like this is going to be a bunch of offshoot stories and not the main series. It's not going to affect the main series at all.
At the end of the day, I still think it's going to be done really, really well. Even if it's not something we're interested in, somebody somewhere is interested. And if it pulls in a little kid who just saw the movie and he says, wow, this Mutanimal is my new favorite character, and then they go from there, that's all you can ask for.
We'll keep an eye on the creative teams. If we see someone like Dustin Nguyen get spotlighted on this, then of course we'll pick up that arc. But otherwise, be sure to at least pick up the main series.
Dustin Nguyen works Batman in there somewhere.
Yeah, if they can somehow get more DC characters into the TMNT universe, you bet your ass you're going to sell more of those in the main series.
IDW has some more great things coming our way with more characters that lots of people love.
I wish this one appeared in the Turtles too. They are adapting the current Emmy Award-winning Mickey Mouse cartoon over to a 4-issue miniseries.
This will be titled Mickey Mouse Shorts Season 1. This adaptation is set to debut in July.
We first saw that Mickey Mouse cartoon on the Disney Cartoons channel, and this is the one that's all like 2D. It brings us the classic Mickey Mouse that we are familiar with, and it gives us like 15-minute shorts, and they're brilliant. They're really well done.
Either way, these are great. We watched them. You bought the DVDs, didn't you?
Yeah, I got season 1.
And they're so funny, so cute. I'm really glad that they're adapting this, because we're going to buy that too.
And Disney actually made season 1 available on YouTube through their channel, so you can watch them in full HD. Just search, what did I look up for this one? Because it's not titled, it's such a weird title, it's like Mickey Mouse, but if you type in Mickey Mouse Season 1, it should pop up on YouTube, and they're up to 3 or 4 seasons now. Worth watching. This is an adaptation, though, on season 1, so you're not going to get original stories in this, but you are, at least what it sounds like, you are going to get original artwork. It's not just going to be screen caps of the cartoon, which I despise when they do that. It's lazy. Hire an artist, hire a writer, do something, even if it's not original, adapt it in your own way. So that sounds like that's what this is going to be, so I love the cartoon. I'll give it its support.
You want me to let her in? Keeping up with the Disney news, Disney and Marvel Studios held advanced screenings in 25 U.S. locations on April 14th for Captain America Civil War.
This is a full 3 weeks before its official release on May 6th.
Did I ever show you my favorite meme for Civil War?
No, I don't think so. I've probably seen it because there's a bunch of good ones.
So it's somebody saying, conclusion of the Civil War, like Lincoln wins, so-and-so loses. And somebody goes, great, thanks for spoiling the movie.
I've seen the one of Batman v Superman, where Captain America says, that movie was trash, and Iron Man says, no, it wasn't. It was awesome. And then, boom, Civil War.
No, there was another one where he said, my mother's not Martha, neither is mine. Boom, Civil War.
I like that one. So how much confidence does Disney have to say, we're going to debut this weeks ahead of time? They've seen this. They know people are going to like it.
Of course. They have so much confidence. And showing it is only going to make more people talk about it. And then all of us go, well, why couldn't we see it 3 weeks early?
I'm not the head of any studio, so I don't know what kind of balls you have to have to be secure.
The biggest balls.
In your film to say, this is good enough to debut in 3 weeks. We know people are going to like this. Mm-hmm. We're safe in debuting this. And this is almost a slight to like Warner Brothers and saying, we're not afraid of this movie being shitty or getting bad reviews. We're going to let people see it weeks ahead of time and let them talk about it.
I want them, they didn't even show the real movie. They just showed them like concept art through the whole thing with voiceovers. And then people still write that they love it.
That's what they would. Of course they would. And I've seen the tweet people saying that if Batman v Superman, slight spoilers if you haven't seen it yet, had the same ending as you mentioned earlier, where Batman and Superman agreed and stopped fighting in Batman v Superman, if that same thing had happened in Civil War, the reviews would be brilliant writing, the symbolism is amazing, everyone should watch it.
It's 98%. A reflection of the inner all of us.
It's so smart of Marvel and Disney. Might have happened. I just don't know what people's issue is on that. I saw one cartoon, and I showed it to you earlier, with Darkseid. He says his mother's Martha.
Yes.
And then he and Batman start crying, and Wonder Woman says, "Oh my God." And obviously it was a joke on that, but I said, "Oh, cool. So Darkseid's joining the Justice League too then?" Because that's naturally what would have to happen.
Are they all going to go save Martha?
They're all going to be friends. I'm okay with this. Stop Lex Luthor, Darkseid. But it must be Kevin Feige who has the balls of steel. Maybe he's not the Disney one, but he's like the left ball of Disney. Just that.
So, yes, Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige confirmed that other characters from the Marvel Cinematic Universe will appear in the solo Disney/Sony Spider-Man reboot film.
Along with these hints, Marvel Entertainment showed off the title card to the solo film officially titled, we went through the websites last week.
Yes.
And it is...
A Spider-Man Homecoming.
Homecoming. Which has two meanings, as you said last week, high school.
Yes.
But also Spider-Man going back to Marvel or going to Disney where home is in many people's eyes because they think that because Disney's doing it, that it's a guaranteed success. Maybe so. Will it be a good movie? We'll see.
In spite of Sony and Marvel having a joint deal on this film, Marvel's branding appears on its own on the title because it's Disney.
Yeah. They're like, you're going to step aside, Sony, and we're going to put the Marvel logo on there. We don't want you to taint this potentially billion-dollar movie.
We'll make it. No worries. You just have to sign these papers, send it over to us, and then not do a thing.
And when are they going to make millions upon millions?
July 7th, 2017. So 777.
7717. Same year as Wonder Woman.
Yes.
Same year as Justice League Part 1. I believe Black Panther is also next year. So tons of Marvel and DC stuff coming up for us. It's already been an awesome year with the movies, and it's not even over yet. We still have more coming this year. So just looking forward. I think we'll see a teaser by the end of this year.
I'm sure. I'm sure we will.
So we'll probably get a teaser to that. We'll probably get a teaser to Justice League Part 1. We'll get a full trailer to Wonder Woman by the end of this year. And then we'll get a teaser to Black Panther as well.
What a great time to be alive.
Not for everyone, though, because we have our very first Nerd Rage Reaction!
You're so much better at those than me. Because you're like a little kid. Like normally anyway, so then you throwing that fit, it's perfect.
I gotta characterize these guys like little children.
It's true. So for those of you who don't know, our Nerd Rage reaction is a quote from the internet for someone who's just having a bad day and can't enjoy the great things in life. So they share it with the internet. We're not going to tell you who said it. If you choose to, you can search the internet to find him or her. But these quotes made us laugh and we feel like sharing them with you.
And here's the quote for this Nerd Rager. Give me a day in a locked room with a pad of paper and pen, and I could not come up with a worse title.
Okay, that's a lie, because I just came up with 5 worse titles, like right now.
Let's hear them.
Spider-Man and Stuff.
I prefer that to Homecoming, actually.
Really?
Only if and is an N. Spider-Man and Stuff.
Spider-Man gets a pedicure.
Yeah, I don't want to watch that movie.
Okay, good. Spider-Man, arachnophobia.
Yeah, that's pretty awful. Yep.
I would probably watch that one, though. Spider-Man, let's pick out some curtains. And finally, hold on, no. Spider-Man, graduates.
I've got an even better one. Last week, Spider-Man Suspended is a shittier title than Homecoming. He or she must not have listened to last week's episode where we went down on those awful names that they were coming up with.
Do you really want a Nerd Rager listening to us? Because then
Only
they probably
if maybe they'll take away something from it.
They would Nerd Rage us.
Great, then we can feature them and make fun of them.
Make fun of our own listeners on our podcast.
If they're listening and they know we're gonna make fun of them and feature them, then they probably enjoy it. And although then you're feeding the trolls, right?
Yes, and you're a troll. You know about these things.
Spider-Man Suspended is a worse title than Spider-Man Homecoming.
Spider-Man Let's Pick Out Curtains is a worse title.
That's a worse title too. Homecoming is not the best. But watch, Brokettes. Watch this week with your coworkers. Find your biggest Marvel fanboy and see how they defend that title. Watch them just fumble around.
Well,
they'll have a plan already.
It means that he's in high school. It's going to take place around homecoming, but something's going to happen. And then maybe he's been away for a while, but it's about him coming home to his family and returning where his roots were. There, did I answer it?
It's probably going to be that. It's going to be a combination of Marvel has Spider-Man again, so they wanted something to symbolize Spider-Man being home. And if anything, they can always desperately go to, well, we haven't seen the movie yet, guys. We don't know what it's going to be.
It could be anything.
We have to watch it first, and then the title will make sense. I don't care about the title. They can name it whatever. We're going to watch it.
Of course we are. It could be titled Spider-Man Tobey Maguire again. And people would still watch it.
A brilliant tweet I saw online was, and you guys thought there wouldn't be dancing in this Spider-Man movie.
What?
Because the Spider-Man 3 had awful dancing.
I remember. Good for them. Witty. I like them. Why can't we feature them instead of our Nerd Rager?
We did, just now.
Okay, good. So switching over from Marvel to DC... Director and podcaster Kevin Smith recently revealed that Ben Affleck and Jeff Johns are working on a script for the solo Batman movie.
We love Jeff Johns.
Mm-hmm.
Can write the shit out of comics. With Affleck, maybe they can put out an awesome Batman script. According to Smith, he had a conversation with Jeff on the script breakdown between the two writers and quoted him saying, "We just break it up, he takes halves and I take halves, and then we write. And then we switch material, and then he goes over mine, and I go over his." I'm not a writer. I don't know if that's an effective method.
I don't feel that I don't know. I don't write movies. But you get two different writing styles from people. But I guess then if you're collaborating and you both have the same vision, yeah, you could make it work.
There's obviously got to be a breakdown already of the story. These are the things we want to hit in the plot. Probably put together by Jeff.
Can they call it Batman Senior Prom?
Just a one-up.
Yep.
Sony and Marvel. People are speculating that this could be in relation to the two untitled DC movies that were just added to the release calendar list for 2018 and 2019.
Oh, I'm sure it's related to that, of course. Like we said, one of those is going to be Suicide Squad 2 and the other will be Solo Batman. But this was followed up by Warner Brothers studio chief Kevin Sugihara confirming that Ben Affleck will also be directing the standalone Batman film.
Finally they release and say...
We knew that was going to happen, though.
I like how coy Ben was. I'd like to direct it, but I don't know. He's probably just waiting like, are they going to accept the contract that I wanted? Are they going to pay me what I want to direct and co-write this with Jeff?
Here's the thing, though, about Ben and his role as Batman. Everybody I've talked to who's a Super Marvel fanboy who doesn't like that movie always says, but Ben Affleck was a really good Batman. So what reason is there not to let him do this?
Who would have guessed, I wouldn't have guessed, that the one casting that people despise so much is the one bit that people universally loved so much of Batman to be Superman, no matter how they felt about it.
I mean, but we've seen it before with Heath Ledger as the Joker.
Absolutely, but... with Heath Ledger, they love the Dark Knight movies, and they were awesome. But with Batman v Superman, it's a little bit more mixed, just a tiny bit more mixed than the Dark Knight.
Just a tiny bit.
So this is going to be a part of a new deal, as Ben's contract ended after the second Justice League movie. That's where people were speculating that, oh, maybe they'll kill off Batman in Justice League 2, and we'll get Batman Beyond. And instead, they went, no, you idiots. This just means that okay, so this is working. We're making millions. Now we can start re-upping on contracts.
No official title or release date was given, but I'm going to speculate that it is coming out in 2019, and it will be titled Batman Senior Prom.
So villains, we talked about it before, Red Hood, Hush, the Court of Owls. We got our lineup that we'd like to see, and we'll hopefully get confirmation on that when that first teaser, or even when the first title releases.
We do have a Nerd Rage reaction for this, though. Our Nerd Rager says, Hell yeah, can't wait to see all the murdering he does. Hopefully more vehicles with Gatling guns laying waste to people. And hopefully he says, screw batarangs, I got a bat AK-47.
Look, there will be tons of murdering. Don't worry. This is a Batman that kills.
We don't know that. You don't know that. Do you know what they're writing?
I don't know. And I guess people don't seem to care that enough for Warner Brothers to take notice, or for anyone to even say anything about the fact that Batman's killing people left and right.
So the Batman that we see here in this movie is killing, right?
Yes.
We don't know what happened to make him start killing. We don't know if it was that way the whole time or after whomever was murdered, or we don't know. So depending on how far back in time they take us, we may not see a Batman that kills. We may see the actions and the events that happen to make him that Batman. You guys don't know. Have you seen the movie? No. Okay.
If you have any doubts on Ben Affleck's directing, please, we implore you, watch Argo.
Yes.
Argo is well crafted, well shot, well written, well directed. It's a movie you'll want to see more than once. Check that out and imagine what he could do, knowing what he knows now, knowing that he's writing it, he's starring in it, and he'll have full creative control. When that Batman movie comes out, people are going to demand that Affleck direct all of the DC movies, and then they're gonna petition no more Zack Snyder, but instead have Ben, as opposed to just fire Zack Snyder. It's going to be Ben Affleck that everyone's going to want, and Snyder composes some gorgeous shots. We saw that in Batman v Superman. But I'm very excited to see what Affleck can do with the character. Will he top Zack Snyder on the iconic scenery that we got in Batman v Superman?
I don't know. It's a different direction. It's a different feel for the movie. So we're just going to have to wait and see. I think that the nods to the different Batman stories that they put in there was very clever. But maybe he goes for, in an ideal world, he pulls things from Batman the Animated Series and just pulls like everything from there. That's obviously not going to happen. But there's so many amazing Batman stories out there to pull from that they may not be as iconic as what we saw, but they could still be great. Or he could develop all new ones that people are copying later in the future.
In an ideal world, this would be written by Paul Dini and Bruce Timm.
Yes.
And shot by Ben Affleck and whoever else. It wouldn't matter.
And starring Kevin Conroy.
He would be the modulator. Instead of the editing Ben Affleck's voice, just put in Kevin Conroy's and then you're all set up.
Done. TCO'd.
If Jason Todd is in this and they do give us a flashback to him, I want to see his fucking tears. I want to see whiny Jason Todd.
No, why?
I want to see those things. I want to see his crying face as the Joker takes him down.
That's pretty sick.
I'm not a fan of Jason Todd. So if you're going to show him...
But that's pretty sick. Like, I want to see him fucking crying as he gets beaten to death with a crowbar. Whoa,
I didn't say anything about getting beaten to death. I just wanted to see him whining a little bit. That's all. Jeez. Dial it back a little.
The words you said were, I want to see his tears and him whining as the Joker takes him down. That was what you just said.
When he trips him or throws a banana in front of him, when he's the Joker, you don't know. Maybe he doesn't always have to be murdering people. That's what's scary about him. You really don't know what he's going to do.
You're so full of bull right now. I can't even process all this bull.
The tear needs to be like in Watchmen, where you see the little tear fall from far up. And then it hits the fucking smiley face from the Watchmen, the little pin. That was
blood. That wasn't a tear.
But I want it to be his tears.
Okay, but it was
on the little Robin R.
Okay, except I think it's going to be blood because he's being beaten to death with a crowbar. I'm just saying.
I don't think we're going to see Nightwing in this. So before anyone says, oh, maybe Nightwing's going to be in the No, he's not going to be in the Batman movie. We already have him. Oh, shit, actually... Well, fuck me, because Titans apparently isn't happening, right? Remember we talked about that 2 months ago? Yeah, the TV show. So Nightwing's not tied up in that. They've already revealed that Deathstroke is going to appear in some DC property, most likely Suicide Squad. So they could use Nightwing. Do you want to see Nightwing?
It depends on who they get to play Nightwing. If they're going to get somebody to play Nightwing, one, he needs a really nice ass, because that's what he goes by in the movie.
They can put in pads. It can be anyone. It can be Conan O'Brien. Just put in some pads.
I do not want to see Conan O'Brien as mine. They're going to have to pick somebody who can act really well, but somebody who's going to be a teenage girl heartthrob. They're going to have to. If they want to sell his books, they're going to have to. Because the second you put in a good-looking man in that role who can act well and get girls all gaga for him, those books are going to fly off the shelf.
Faster than they already are.
Yes.
And then the Nightwing fans, there's a ton of guys out there that love Nightwing, so that's going to get sales right there. So I don't know, maybe we will see.
I mean, it'd be a smart move, but they got to be real careful with it.
A sure shot for Warner Brothers right now seems to be Suicide Squad.
At the MTV Movie Awards earlier this week, they did show off a new Suicide Squad trailer.
Out of the 3 that we've seen so far, I can't pick one that I think this is definitely the best one. They're all very similar. They're all very good. They all highlight the insanity, the chaos of this team, on why they shouldn't work, because they're all so different. They each have their vices. But you see them working together, and then you're seeing the common enemies, which seem to be the Joker and Batman.
Exactly, like you said, each one has its own little piece of, I guess you would say, almost perfection. So I almost wish that we were more into these comics and into this main series. We're really following it only for Harley Quinn and the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. But they've done a great job of marketing this and getting everybody excited for it.
Because it looks fun. It just looks fun and it's
fun.
light.
It's just, I actually got I won't say a fight with somebody the other day, but I was talking to somebody and we were in a group talking about DC and Marvel movies, and they were asking how I like Batman v Superman. I said, well, there are parts that I liked and parts that I didn't. And they go, yeah, I just like the Marvel movies more because, that's how a team-up movie should be. And I said, well, first of all, Batman v Superman isn't really, they come together at the end, but the whole thing is it's their versus. They're not really teaming up. Mm-hmm. And second, DC movies make you think, whereas Marvel movies don't. And that's why more people like them, because they can just...
It's popcorn movie, yeah.
They can just watch. Flick. They don't have to think about it and think about the message that it takes away. And they had no response.
There was a clickbait article out there that said the exact same you did, but much more... What's the word for that? When you're looking down, condescending, a little bit more condescending, just to get the clickbait. And of course, the Marvel fanboys, my friends on Facebook, were sharing that and saying, "What do you mean you have to think more to like the DC movies? And are they implying that people are dumb and that's why they like the Marvel movies because they're not as smart as the Warner Brothers?" And I'm like, I commented and I said, "You fell for that clickbait. They wanted you to click on their article so they get the ad money." That's why they put out a title that made you mad and made you react. So, well done. I didn't click on that because I knew exactly what it was going to be. It was going to be an article bullshitting and trying to be condescending so that they can get, hey, look at this fucking idiot over here. Check out his article. And now his bosses are going, holy shit, man, you got a ton of clicks on this article. Write another one here. Do this next one.
Exactly.
But you're right. It's not just... And this is why, again, it goes back to the Avengers. The Avengers is just pure action, almost from beginning to end. And it's made up of all of these characters that previously had movies that weren't the best, getting together, and this is why my interest wasn't there. Because I didn't care for a lot of those solo movies. I mainly watched it for Captain America because I loved the first Avenger. That was a great movie. Well done. And the sequels so far... Captain America 2 and Civil War do look like they're going to be pretty solid, which is why I am generally excited for Civil War. But that is the difference right there between Marvel Studios and Warner Brothers, as Warner Brothers is putting in a shit ton of symbolism, maybe a little too much. And again, with our review, I said it was a little heavy-handed with the religious aspects or with the death motifs with... I'm going to cut that part out in case someone hadn't seen it, but the death motifs with certain characters... in the movie, and with the Avengers you don't get a ton of that, and instead it's just action and humor, and I guess that's what people like, but me personally, and it sounds like you, we like a little bit more out of the movies.
Going back to talking about Suicide Squad though, now that we went down a little rabbit hole, through Twitter, director David Ayer recently addressed the rumors that Suicide Squad was going back for reshoots as ordered by the studio to make the film lighter and funnier.
That was the thing that everyone immediately jumped to, like,
yes,
that's a bad sign. That means they saw Batman v Superman and they said, put more jokes in it. It might have been Latino Review. And even I fell for it. I was like, oh, maybe they did. I don't know. I don't know if they changed enough of it.
You fell for that clickbait.
I didn't click on any articles. I was just assuming that people saw something somewhere. But instead, this was the tweet from David Ayer, who is at David Ayer Movies. He tweeted, Suicide Squad reshoots for humor is silly. When a studio loves your movie and asks what else you want, go for it. Hashtag thanks WB, hashtag more action.
So what really happened was WB saw how well Batman v Superman did.
Ka-ching!
And said, you know what? We just raised your budget. Go ahead and do what else you need to do.
That is exactly what happened. Exactly. What other scene did you want to put in here? Oh, well, there's this whole action sequence we have to cut out. No problem. Here you go. Here's a check. Go film it. This is going to
go on, little kids. Go.
Have fun. I think it's great.
Yeah.
I'm excited for Suicide Squad. Do you think that'll do better than Batman v Superman?
I think it will.
Money-wise or reception?
Both.
I half agree.
You half agree. You think reception's going to do better, but not money?
Yes. I think it's going to be better received, better reviewed. But simply the title Batman v Superman already squashed the Suicide Squad. You have two of the biggest comic book properties on the title. Worldwide, that's going to make you more money than Suicide Squad.
Yes and no. So, here's the thing. I think reception will lead much more into revenue. So, I don't think the first week is going to do as well as Batman v Superman did.
Right.
But I don't think we're going to see as much of a drop-off, and I think we're going to see more people going back for a second or third viewing than we did for this one. So let's say that it gets 2/3 of the views that Batman v Superman did. If half of those people go back for a second viewing, you still have more viewing and more revenue than needed for Batman v Superman. And I think that's going to be the case. I think it's going to be a movie that's going to be a little lighter, make people laugh a little more. And so then when their friends say, hey, I haven't seen that movie, they're going to say, oh, I liked it. Let's go see it again.
We'll leave it up to the brokettes. Let us know what you think. Suicide Squad v. Batman v. Superman. Which one will make more money? Which one will be better received? Maybe I'll hold a poll over Twitter. But for now, let us know on Twitter at ReasonsI'mBroke and why. Make sure to include the why. There's a difference here. Not the one you're most excited to see, but which one you legitimately think will make more money and will get better reviews.
And while you're at it, also let us know what you thought of the most recent trailer.
We'll share some of those tweets on next week's episode 188.
So before we move down into our Patreon and comic books, we mentioned earlier that you saw Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I can't say that word. Ferris Bueller's Day Off this week. But you also saw another movie, or rather we saw another movie.
Yeah, after several weeks of people saying nothing but good things about Zootopia, I said, let's go fucking watch this. Let's go see Zootopia. And yeah, it was really, I enjoyed it. I liked it. Stuff from Disney Animation, I think the last thing was Frozen, which made them a shit ton of money. I thought was okay, but I don't think I was the target audience for it. I think you liked it more.
Are you a little girl? Clearly you were not the target audience. I did enjoy Frozen. I think it was one of the best things we had seen from the studio in a while. And I enjoyed Zootopia too, probably more than I enjoyed Frozen. That
I agree on. Zootopia, as you're watching this...
Well, again, you're not a little girl.
As you're watching this, stop defending Frozen. As you're watching this, you start picking up, you're an adult, we're watching and you think, that's fucking racism. That's sexism. All of that is symbolized in this movie through the plot, through the characters, through the character types. And for that, I do recommend watching Zootopia because you're like, that's crack cocaine that they're talking about. That was used against African Americans. Like, all of that is in this movie.
The thing that I really liked about it, though, is yes, it was all about racism, but it wasn't... I mean, I didn't feel like it was shoved down my throat. Like,
exactly.
I knew it was there, but it was kind of all part of the movie. And when you really started, like, there's that one line where the guy calls the bunny cute, and she's like, ugh, I mean, if you're another bunny, you can call another bunny cute, but if you're not really a bunny, you probably shouldn't say that. And I'm like, oh, that's the N-word. That's what she's talking about.
Disney, how'd you sneak that in here?
But, I mean, they did such a good job of just, and I don't really think it's going to change anybody's mind, but just kind of plant the seeds. Mm-hmm. Especially for little kids, because that's a big deal right now. There's no reason that we should still have racism. There's no reason.
Well,
there's very, I mean, to the degree that we have it,
we shouldn't. I think it's, and I said a few weeks ago that I think we were all under this illusion of, well, we're better than we are, and then as soon as we got our first black president, all of these racists came out of the woodwork. We're like, oh shit, well, never mind. We're farther behind than we thought we are. So I think that's what you, I don't know if that's what you meant, but yes, it shouldn't even be a thing. I understand that, but it is a problem, and it is something that needs to be recognized. And I'm glad Zootopia made a whole plot around it while making it funny, while making it entertainment, while making it visually pleasing on top of that.
And they also had very colorful characters. I think there were very few characters that I don't remember. My favorite was Little Mouse.
The Godfather mouse?
Yes.
I don't even know if that's a mouse. It's like I know it's in the same family, but there's a specific word for that type of animal. And yeah, he was great. There's a ton of characters. I'm glad there wasn't a love story, because not everything has to have a love story.
Yeah, there was kind of a love story.
They're different species, Kelli.
But they're pretty bad. So they can't be together? Is that what you're saying?
No, they're supposed to be with their own.
Did you not just watch the same movie I did that was talking about how racism is bad?
This is speciesism.
and how all creatures should live in harmony together.
So then it's cool when Sonic the Hedgehog and that human girl were kissing in that Sonic the Hedgehog
whatever. Are they in love?
game.
That's fine. I'm not judging.
People hated that. They thought it was one of the creepiest things in video games.
That is a little creepy.
See?
But it's different when it's two animals and not human.
Humans are animals.
Anyway, it was a good movie. Go see it.
Yeah, go watch Zootopia. MegaCon 2016.
Yes, it's almost here.
News. It is almost here. At the end of next month, May, we will be at the Blue Juice Comics booth on Thursday and Friday. Remember, MegaCon is 4 days this year. And we will be there Thursday, Friday. Blue Juice Comics. If you're there right at opening, we will definitely be there at opening. I don't know if we're going to be there all the way till closing. We'll have more details as we get closer. But check us out. Check out the Blue Juice Comics books like Anne Bonny, which we highly recommend.
Yep.
The trade paperback is out, so you can catch up until the next issue does release. And they've also got the accelerators that will be available there. And of course, the latest project, which we will be reviewing, their latest #1 in the next month or two.
For more information, you guys can visit megaconvention.com.
We mentioned earlier, thanks to our Patreon backers, that we can have upgrades like a new opening theme. And this week we've got 2 Patreon shoutouts for backing us on patreon.com/thereasonsimBroke.
First is Bobby, who is at Cuban Slim, and second is Neil, who is at InMattZ68.
Both on Twitter.
Yes.
Make sure to follow them so all the Brokettes can follow each other and talk to one another. We're all an amazing crowd. I haven't had any Brokettes that give us Nerd Rage reactions to the show or anything like that. They're all wonderful. They're all very supportive, and that's why we keep doing this.
Is everyone on Twitter but me? Am I the only one not on Twitter?
You need to be on Twitter.
What am I going to do on Twitter?
Be followed by Brokettes. Talk to Brokettes.
Nobody wants to follow me.
Let them know, Brokettes, this week also on Twitter, at ReasonsI'mBroke. You will follow Kelli. Normally, you just kind of tell me what to tweet, and I'll quote you, and I'll put a little K at the end.
If I can get 10 people to say, yes, Kelli, we want to follow you and hear what you have to say, then I will make a Twitter.
Okay, 10 people.
But I need 10 people.
That's up to you, Brokettes. The power is yours.
And if I don't get 10, if I get 9, I'm not doing it.
Did you ever settle on a Twitter name?
No.
Was it like Broket Kelly or something?
I don't know. I had to make a Twitter once for a college class because the professor's like, I'm going to post all your assignments on Twitter because we need to learn about, I don't know, social media or whatever. And then he never posted anything on Twitter, so...
Maybe we forgot his login.
I mean, it's possible. It was a lot of years ago. I'm old.
If you want to support us on Patreon for as little as $1, you too can get your monthly shout-outs. Just head on over to patreon.com/thereasonsimBroke. And for less than a cup of coffee...
Unless you go to Wawa.
Unless you go to Wawa, they're in that 79-cent deal. You too can help us out in reaching our next goal, which we are $7 away from, and that is having alphonic audio for all of our episodes, all of our unboxings, all of our Let's Plays. This week's episode, so right now, this is through alphonic, and also last week's if you want to hear a preview.
So they can hear my voice in extra definition.
A little bit in extra definition. There's a whole background tech to this that I have to adjust. If all the episodes are on alphonic, then I can have all the defaults at a different level. But because most of our episodes are not with alphonic, I can't go all full steam ahead on all of the audio and all of the bass or anything like that, because it's a lot of adjusting I had to do just to get us to this point because we didn't have alphonic. So the program's already like, I've got so many knobs I'm pulling in different directions. And the phonic's like, all right, let me just level you out for now.
Chill out, baby. I got you.
We also want to thank DecalAvenue.net for helping us out on the $5 tier for the decals that do go out to broke cats for every 3 months of support.
And of course, guys, like we say every week, our podcast will always, always, always be free for you. The best thing you can do is just talking to us on Twitter, hitting us up on Facebook, leaving a review on iTunes. We do this podcast for you guys to share what we love with other people who love the same things.
More reasons you're broke this week. We've got 2 comic book highlights.
Yes.
One is from Cartoon Hangover, Boom Studios.
Yes.
And another one is from DC Comics.
So our first one we're going to talk about is Bee and Puppycat number 10, finally. The writer is Patrick Siri and Ko Takeuchi. Takeuchi. I'm trying. I did good so far.
You did?
And the artist is Ji-In Kim and Ko Takeuchi.
It's been a while since we've had a Bee and Puppycat book.
Yes, a long time.
We now have 2 trade paperbacks. If Brokettes want to catch up, you can get volume 1 and 2. And they're nice little stories. I like that they're super light, well drawn. If you have any children, this is a great book for boys and girls. And if you haven't seen the cartoon on YouTube, you should definitely check it out. There's a lot there to enjoy, a lot to see. And by the end of this year, we will have the full season of Bee and Puppycat hitting YouTube. We were one of the backers for the project, so we do get some updates on it. And the project does look really, really cool.
So overall, I thought this was a great story. It was adorable and kind of a story about growing up and letting go of things from your past, which I need to do and definitely need to clean out my closet and clothes that I will never fit in again. But like you said, all these stories are very light. They're fun and easy to follow. The characters are adorable. The costumes are adorable. I love it.
Speaking of different species relationships, you're cool with Puppycat and the human girl getting together?
Puppycat is really an alien secret prince who will turn back into a secret prince someday so that he and Bee can be in love.
Not Deckard? You like Deckard so much.
I do like Deckard because Deckard likes Bee, and somebody needs to like Bee because that girl is a mess.
Puppycat likes Bee.
Puppycat kind of like tolerates Bee at this point.
That's true too.
But Bee kind of tolerates Puppycat too.
Yeah.
When he tries to buy little leather jackets. And
that was the best. So we have a new number 1. It's a one-shot. And this one is Harley Quinn and the Suicide Squad April Fool's Special.
This is written by Rob Williams with art by Jim Lee and Sean Galloway. And the colorist is Alex Sinclair.
This is a $4.99 one-shot. Jim Lee's pencils are in here, and they are extensive compared to what he normally does, like an opening and a closing page, and that's it. He does the theme songs for the comics, essentially. But with this, you do get a good chunk of the comic. I would say a little over half of it would be with Jim Lee pencils. So if you're a fan of Jim Lee, you get to see a Jim Lee rendered Man-Bat. His Harley Quinn is awesome.
Yeah.
The only kind of giveaway or the downside to it is that you don't have Jimmy and Amanda writing Harley Quinn, which I was a little bit surprised at, and it definitely shows with this Harley Quinn. It definitely feels different.
I still enjoyed this issue. I thought that it was interesting to see the role that Harley's trying to play and still see her fighting that duality of, well, I'm a supervillain, but I kind of want to do good too. And we see that all throughout her comic where she's trying to do good, but she always messes it up because she's Harley. And we get to see that here. And it's kind of, I won't say it's confusing at the end, but it kind of leaves a mystery of, well, was that real or wasn't? You know, what's going on now? And we get to see a turn into Suicide Squad, which felt very reminiscent of, not reminiscent because we haven't seen the movie yet, but it felt very similar to what we're going to see from the movie.
And it's right there in the title, Harley Quinn and the Suicide Squad April Fool's Special. This is essentially a tie-in to the Rebirth Suicide Squad book, which will also have pencils by Jim Lee. So this is kind of like the almost zero issue to Suicide Squad Rebirth. Suicide Squad is going to be the first title from that series that we're going to be picking up, and that is going to be the Rebirth one. We'll give it its, fair shake, 3 issues, and I'm sure that all of Rebirth we're not going to have 6 months from now. We're going to do our cuts, because not everything is going to be a great book, and maybe this one won't be. But for now, this is, if you're going to get Suicide Squad, I feel like this is a good companion to that Rebirth title. To see Jim Lee's pencils is great, and I love the twist of Harley Quinn being, well, maybe this whole time, I haven't been crazy and I've been acting crazy just to secretly be giving them each psychology behind the scenes. And that would have been an awesome, awesome twist.
Yeah.
If there was ever a remake to the story for Harley. And just to always get that behind of like, oh yeah, she's just a psychologist, but is she actually crazy to be doing all of this just to help them out? That was a neat concept, and I don't think something they've ever explored in the books or the TV shows.
At the end of the day, I think if you're a Harley fan, even if you're not particularly a Suicide Squad fan, you should definitely pick this up.
Yep.
Because like you said, it does explore different sides of Harley. We still get to see her being hilarious. Man-Bat kind of looks like my dog. There's that too.
We ended up getting the variants as well. Covers are awesome on this one. Like you said, you like Harley, pick up the one-shots. Those Harley books are always, at least I think they're always going to be in demand. They're not staying as in print as they used to. I think issue 25 is getting hard to get. Maybe it's number 20. But that's one that's like, oh shit, it's out of print and there's no second print. So these Harley books, as we get closer to Suicide Squad, are going to get harder and harder to find.
Of course. If you want to see everywhere you can find us, you can head over to thereasonsimbroke.com. It'll list all the different podcatchers you can listen to us on, our YouTube channel, and anywhere else you could choose to find us.
On YouTube, we just put up the unboxing for the Jirachi cards, and also we're about to put out one for a Harley Quinn statue that'll be going out this coming week. So definitely check that out. Subscribe if you haven't yet. There's also a link there on thereasonsimbroke.com. If you want to help us out as far as apparel or t-shirts, if you want a t-shirt with the Reasons I'm Broke logo on it, that's available at nerdupmedia.com/shop. While you're at nerdupmedia.com, you can also check out the other shows on the network, other podcasts, other Let's Plays, and other ways that you can interact with the Nerd Up Media family.
And if you guys have 2 extra minutes at the end of this podcast, pull your car to the side of the road. Please don't be driving while you do this, but head on over to iTunes. Just leave us a review. It helps other people find us. It pushes us up a little bit higher in the charts. And if you like our podcast, hopefully other people will like it as well.
It doesn't always have to be with money that you can help out the show. Just a review, 2 minutes, helps out, and it stays on there. Goes a long way for the podcast. So huge thanks to all of you. Huge thanks to our backers just for tuning in, just for downloading, just for interacting with us on Twitter. All of that collectively keeps us going. And we hope you enjoyed the theme songs, both the opening and the closing. Let us know about that also on Facebook.com/TheReasonsI'mBroke or @ReasonsI'mBroke. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Daniel.
And I'm Kelli.
We'll see you next week.